But do you think Rahul Gandhi failed to put in the kind of effort that he would have been expected to or should have for Maharashtra and for Jharkhand? I mean, given what's at stake for him personally, he really should have made a lot more effort than he actually did.
I think the next 6 hours will decide whether this campaign at some stage was another self-goal by the Congress. Because Rahul Gandhi, I checked, did about 8 rallies eventually.
Isn't that too few?
Two of which was the Samvidhan Sammelans that they had, which were closed doors. This was a huge opportunity, given the fact, Rahul, that when he did the Bharat Jodo Yatra, he wended his way through Marathwada and Vidarbha, through the agrarian distressed districts, and the Congress did well there in the Lok Sabha. But you've got to build on it. Politics is never static. Politics is always moving. That's the mistake the Mahavikas Aghadi, I don't want to presume what happens today. If they lose, it's because you forgot that a Vidhan Sabha election is very different to Lok Sabha. You can't go with Samvidhan copy in a Lok Sabha when people are saying, Mala soyabeen sa bhav pahiye. I want my remunerative price for soyabeen. You go and bang on it and build on anti-incumbency. There was anti-incumbency, make no mistake. That's why Ladki Bahin was brought. But you've got to change. So Eknath Shinde, Devendra Fadnavis, Bhupendra Yadav worked on it. And interestingly, BJP sent the same people who were also handling Maharashtra 5 years ago. So Bhupendra Yadav knows Maharashtra now. Ramesh Chenithala, who was put in charge, is from Kerala. So for him, he has to still sort of go back to the drawing board.
Also remember, you have to... Why are left liberal parties in India so hell-bent on constitutional debates and discussions which, and want to take it to that magnitude?
Because they believed it worked in the Lok Sabha. You see, one size doesn't fit all.
No, but Rajdeep, there's a bigger point there. You have to bat basis the pitch. In the Lok Sabha, the constitution khatre mein hai, Arakshan khatre mein hai, was a relevant issue because, it is about larger national constitutional issues. Here it's much more about agrarian distress, rural distress. You can tap into that sentiment by telling a voter in rural Maharashtra when he's seeking to elect an MLA that constitution khatre mein, it's like, okay, I have one trick, it worked for me, let me just try the same stroke again and the hope that it will work again.
But traditionally, Rajdeep, the Congress has always looked, especially in areas like Vidarbha, where the Dalits are very strong and a combination of Dalit Muslim tribals and the Kumbis. So the whole ADMK is what he was looking at when he was putting out the constitution copy. He's hoping to take that same narrative further.
You're right, but you've got to build on it. So there's Adivasi, Dalit, Muslim, Kunbi, which work.
But how do you counter?
I'll tell you what, you've got between July, August, September, every Congress leader I spoke to was more talking about kaun banega Mukhyamantri.
I agree with that. Rajdeep, I agree with that. I agree with that. But flashing the constitution, when at one end you have a narrative which is ek hai to safe hai, how do you counter that?
Madam, let me be very clear. I believe even Mr. Modi, and it's Mr. Modi and Shah also realized that this was a local election.
Exactly.
Mr. Modi didn't do the kind of carpet bombing that he normally does. There was also the fear then that if I carpet bomb, then it will become a national election in which they'll play Gujarat, Maharashtra and all these cards. Let's make it local. The BJP, ironically,
but then the Congress has strong regional satiras.
So therefore, that's a good point. The fact is, if the Congress wins today, the credit will go to those regional satraps, each of whom have their Banti Patil in Kolhapur, Sunil Kedar in Vidarbha, Nana Patole. These are all... If the Congress has any chance in Maharashtra today, it is regional satraps. Sharad Pawar, August, September, travelling around at the age of 84. Uddhav Thackeray, at that moment, was in Matoshri. The section of the Shiv Sena, egged on by Sanjay Raut, Mala Mukhyamantri Paije, Mala Mukhyamantri Paije. You can't do that. You've got to be with the people. This was an election where you had to expose and continue to build on. All of this is subject to what happens in the end. I think this election is hyper-local. I saw it as a panchayat election, seat by seat. You play your politics accordingly. You're right. If you're in Perth, you have to have your back foot play. You can't play every time on the front foot. If you're on a turning wicket, you step out. I think the pitch in Maharashtra was designed for anti-incumbency. Sentiment was there, Rahul. But you've got to build on it. I think that could be one reason why Mahayuti is more confident this morning. But if there is any reason why Mahavikas Aghadi still has a chance, it's because Maharashtra does have 288 elections being fought today.
Haryana was really the game changer. Because after that, suddenly no one wants to pretend that they know what's happening.
Yeah,
actually, no one ever did. Yeah. But Haryana really, because of the fact that everyone said one thing and completely the opposite happened, Haryana makes things...
I've just got someone...
election which we all thought that Congress is winning, and Congress also thought Congress is winning.
And BJP also thought Congress was winning for the large part. Yeah,
because of that, they delayed the finalization of ticket in Maharashtra. I think that point, delaying by Congress, that they will win and then they will have a
was no
bargaining
tactics.
power.
Maharashtra election,
Complete
a Congress
indecisiveness.
leader from Karnataka who's in Maharashtra at the moment has sent me a message, Rajdeep ji, please do not as usual predict before it happens. This is the year of surprises. One more surprise is going to hit you today.
We are fine.
So
we are
I'm,
fine.
I'm going to...
After saying all that you just said, you're saying I will now hold my judgment.
Boss,
अब बचा क्या?
Rahul, ऐसा है, जब चुनाव होता है ना, I mean, let me be honest, the same people in June, July, including some senior Congress leaders, were saying 180, हो गया है. You see, no election हो गया है. Much like what happened with the BJP. हमको 400 पार तो होना ही है, 350 तो आना ही है. It didn't happen. Right? Every election has to be fought differently. You made a point today, which is important, saying that, look, if Maharashtra is one, or Sheila also said, then 2029, it's a smooth. Nothing
not
is smooth.
Not
You
smooth.
could have Delhi 2 months from now, very different. You'd have Bihar next year.
No, but nothing
I
turns
think
on
the
it. No, one
message-
second, Rajdeep, let's be very clear. No matter who wins in Delhi, national politics doesn't turn on it. There is a whole ecosystem that's been out to build a narrative post the 4th of June that the Modi era is coming to an end, that the end of this Modi Sarkar is around the corner, that 2029 is when Rahul Gandhi takes over. Haryana, debunked that theory, and if Maharashtra goes the Mahayuti way, then Prime Minister Modi and his supporters will say, hey, it was the 4th of June which was the aberration. And remember what Farid Zakaria said, and this I think is very important for all of you to spend a moment thinking about. In every industrialized nation this year, the incumbent has lost. So while the 4th of June and the BJP slipping to 240 was indeed a setback, given what else has happened internationally, that was the outlier. It was a slip, it wasn't a fall.
You're right, but all I'm saying is I think the message that Indian electorate gives time and again, and we've seen this over the last few years, every election is more and more distinct from the other.
No, sure.
The issue, there is no single narrative election anymore. Narratives change as situations change. You could have an election in Chhattisgarh, which is very different from that in neighboring Madhya Pradesh.
But
I mean, these are two
on a
states.
national level, Rajdeep, the significant move is a new president of the BJP. BJP will get some more confidence with these two victories, give a good farewell to Nadda ji, and then more confidently pick somebody that Modi ji, sort of picks.
If they win
if
both.
They win.
If they win both. There's also the possibility of 1-1. There's the possibility of both being hung. These are both states when some polls are saying both could be hung.
And the sentiment keeps on changing with every election result. Delhi might be 70 seats only, but it is the capital of the country. Maha Premier League is important.
Rahul, to flip around what you said, that if he wins, if, say, the Mahayuti wins, the naysayers of Lok Sabha 2024 will be quiet. But let's say if they lose, that still doesn't mean. All I'm just saying is, it still doesn't mean. It still doesn't mean that the Modi era is over. They could come back and win Bihar. They could come back and win Uttar Pradesh. It
Sir,
cuts both
Narendra
ways.
Modi is not going
Exactly.
anywhere.
It's,
If the opposition thought after
Exactly.
June 4th that Mr. Modi is going to go into the quietly into the distance, they are sadly
And
mistaken.
either way, whatever the result is, it's not a referendum
I
on
always
him.
believed that Mr. Modi has been in politics for 50 years. It's like Sharad Pawar. These people who have been in politics for 40, 50 years, they know how to take adversity, they know how to celebrate triumph because they've seen it all. When you've seen it all, then it's easier to
And you
deal
don't
with
get
it.
carried away.
I don't think they get carried
No,
away.
but speak to people around the Prime Minister, those who love him and are his well-wishers. They say it's like an era. It's the era of Chandragupta Maurya, for example. Extended for 20 years. The Modi era goes up till 2034. That's the way they're playing it.
You see,
And
the
therefore,
problem-
Maharashtra is very
The
important.
problem is always with courtiers.
okay.
Whether it's courtiers of Rahul Gandhi or courtiers of Narendra
But there's
Modi.
a very big difference, Rajdeep.
Narendra Modi's
No.
courtiers will tell him, you're emperor. Rahul Gandhi's courtiers will say, aapka time aa raha hai.
No,
Both of them should
but
take
there's a very
step
big
back.
difference. Modi and Shah, because they've risen from the ground, know when to push the courtiers back
Sure.
and make the changes.